But Brandon, let's move into the next team that we are looking at, and that is the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. One of the only years that I can remember that they haven't been at the bottom of the Big Ten East. So congratulations, Scarlet Knight fans. You beat out the Hoosiers and the Terrapins for 3 wins in the conference, 4 wins overall. And the first question I want to ask you, B, has to do with the offense. Kind of sticking where I like to start these segments because I am an offensive-minded guy. The big question for new offensive coordinator John McNulty has to do with the quarterback. Does he go with the senior in Gio Racino, or does he go with the new arrival, Arthur Sikowski, who, get this, is a 6'5", 215-pound quarterback with a strong arm? Who are you going with, or who would you go with if you were McNulty? The senior quarterback or the freshman quarterback?
Well, I am certainly not liking the experience that we've been getting from Racino, and that's because if you look at his stats, the last 2 seasons with Rutgers, 7 games in 2016, not even 1,000 yards, 5 TDs to 5 picks. Last season, 9 games, completed 47 passes and 100 attempts, 517 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. This guy's not doing anything for me. He's not doing anything. So I am 100% going over to Sitkowski. And in what you said right there, he's going to give you a better opportunity to win. He's going to be more effective. And I know earlier when we were doing, I think it was the Indiana preview, I said, you want to wait back. You don't want to throw the young guy into the fire too soon, and most likely they're not going to because they don't feel ready to have him go. But they had other options.
Yeah,
you got Racino and you've got Sitkowski. It seems like right here, this is kind of the push, and if it's between one or the other, Sitkowski 100% of the time, because you're going to get better play. You're going to get better productivity, and you're going to see a more productive offense from an offense that's been pretty stagnant. It's really surprising that they were able to be better than Indiana and Maryland last year.
Well, and the thing that I kind of look at, and I'm just going to base it off of the 2 teams that we've looked at before. You look at Rutgers last year, and you look at what you got. You mentioned 517 yards from what they had last year, but he only threw 100 passes all year. Like, I had to look at that and go, what? Like, I get that they also had another quarterback who threw also 133 in that season, but, like, I look at it and go, all right, if I give you double that, and I'm giving you 200 attempts now, what, do I finally get to 1,000 yards? Do I get 4 touchdowns instead of 2 touchdowns? That's the big thing for me. The yardage is whatever. Like, yeah, getting over 1,000 yards for a quarterback is kind of maybe. It's not like a running back where it's like, man, you got 1,000 yards. That was a really good season. But you're only getting into the end zone 7 total times throughout the air and 19 total times on the ground, where Gio only had 1 touchdown on the ground. So he attributed 3 touchdowns last year, to where you look at Indiana, Ramsey, who we already talked about, 205 passing attempts, and he wasn't the only guy. They also had Leg Out last year. He also had 10 touchdowns in those 200 attempts. Then you look at what Maryland had last year, their main starter in Max Bortenschlager. He had 233 attempts, also 10 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's a big thing for me, too, is who's going to give you the better chance. And you know what? With a team like Rutgers, where even if you do throw out the freshmen and end up last in the Big Ten this year, or last in the Big Ten East, isn't necessarily going to be the worst thing in the world. I know fans are going to get angry because it's like, oh, we've got less wins than last year. But, like, you look at the teams you beat last year. You beat Illinois, which whoop-de-doo, you beat the Illini. You beat Morgan State. You beat Maryland, who, all right, that's a step up from the first 2. Purdue was probably your best win, and some people may look at that and say it was a fluke win. Like, put that in Purdue, put in a different situation, play that game again, you don't win. And I know fans are going to say, doesn't matter, we won the game. But, I mean, look at the other games. Like, Indiana, 41-0, you get blown out. A Nebraska team that wasn't even that good to where their coach got fired, you lose 27-17. Eastern Michigan, you got them at home and you lost 16-13. So, I mean, this team needs a change at the quarterback position in my mind. Because the most important thing, I think I said it during the Indiana preview, B, the most important thing is getting into the end zone. Thanks, John Madden. That's how you play football. Whichever quarterback is going to do it. And you know, if the strong arm quarterback, the strong arm freshman can give you a chance to get into the end zone more in John McNulty's first year, you go with him.
You know what's really interesting in reading a little bit more about Sitkowski is that this is a kid who was committed to go to Miami and flips over to Rutgers. And
because there's a better chance to start.
People would say, well, what's going on?
It's a better chance to
start. You got
a
chance to win. And he'd be saying, I've got a chance to start. And
well, because you got Rozier and Perry in Miami.
Yeah,
you're sitting behind them.
It's pretty full over there. I think that this kid makes the future very bright. He makes the future very bright for Rutgers, and someone who just with his intangibles could be someone that got ladies and gentlemen all over the place would say, "Wow," and make him go goo goo gaga over the guy because 6'5", you got the size, you got the frame, and what is he? You said 215.
215.
I mean, he's got it. He's got it, and arm strength to boot. I mean, this team may not be as far off, but they also need more pieces on the offensive side. But defensively, you look at a team that's, you always lose your pieces. They need to be healthier. They need to be healthier. That's going to be something that definitely helps them this year. But they also have to look at the back end of the defense. How is that going to improve for them with the loss of some of their chips from last season, and what they're going to be able to do to bring in and who they brought in to ensure that happens. When you're looking at the schedule this year, though, Ricky, I found it hard to get any more than 3 or 4 wins.
Oh, I mean, the thing first off that I want to say about Sitkowski's height and weight is, just to put it into perspective, he's about 1 inch taller than Tom Brady and the same height as Peyton Manning. And he's about 15 pounds lighter than Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was 6'5", 230. You've got Tom Brady 6'4", 225. So he puts on about 10 pounds of muscle. He's Tom Brady, like size-wise. He's an inch taller than Tom and would be the same weight. I'm assuming you want muscle and not fat to be that weight that you're putting on, but that's where he is, kind of comparison to what his body could be like. And I know college to pro, usually the bodies are a little bit different muscle-wise, but the height is still there. Also, you think strong arm quarterbacks, the one I think of is Jay Cutler. He'd be 2 inches taller than Jay and about 16 pounds lighter than Jay, as Jay was 231. But yeah, like you were saying with the schedule, the thing that I hate about Rutgers is the thing that I did not mention that I liked about Indiana's. Indiana last year, the thing I hated for their schedule, brand new head coach, congratulations, here's Ohio State to start the year. With Scarlet Knights, you get September 1st, all right, we're going to play Texas State, that should be an easy win. All right, congratulations, week 2, here you go, Ohio State in the horseshoe. Congratulations. Hey, McNulty, good luck with that one. If you're starting Sitkowski, hey, second game of your career, congratulations, here's the Buckeyes. Good luck with that one. Like, that to me is like, I don't want that. However, you look at, yet again, just like the Maryland schedule, I look at November, worse murderous row than the last one. Wisconsin, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, good effing luck with that. Good luck with that. The good thing, though, is the schedule. Yeah, I don't like the Ohio State at the beginning. Yeah, I don't like the end. but they have winnable games. Texas State could be winnable. Kansas, we've looked at Kansas quite a few times. We've looked at it with Pat. There's a reason why we are so down on Kansas. And I mean, Pat even brought up the thing of, I've never even heard it before, of, hey, maybe Kansas might not be an FBS team in the future if they keep losing so much. I haven't even
thought of it like that.
It would be like, I don't remember I can't remember in my lifetime if I've ever seen that happen to an FBS team, especially from a Power 5. Usually they just change a conference and go to, like, Colorado was getting beat up in the Big 12 from my early childhood. Then they're a Pac-12 team, and they just moved to the Pac-12. Like Nebraska, they were a winning team in the Big 12. Oh, they move over to the Big 10. But I look at those two games. Buffalo could be a winnable one. You win those, there's 3-1 in your non-conference. Then what do you do against, to me, the Indianas, the Marylands, the Illinois? Because I didn't mention that October 20th game. Northwestern's not an easy opponent either. So, like, really, this could be a team that 4 or 5 wins, 6 wins is maybe like, yes, that's the best season we had because we beat Indiana, Illinois, and Maryland. I don't see all of that happening. I see maybe 1 for 4 wins, 2 maybe. So that's why I'm going to say 4 or 5. But I mean, really for Rutgers, even if you got 4 or 5 wins, you can at least hang your hat on, woo, we're like, if you got 5, yes, we're better than last year. We got 5 wins.
Rutgers is going to beat Texas State, Kansas, Buffalo.
That's it?
They might beat Illinois.
Damn, you say we win that game?
Might. I said might.
Yeah, but a might means you're giving us a bigger chance than we've given them on any other team.
I'm giving them a chance, but I saw the Illinois-Rutgers game last year.
Yeah, it wasn't a good game.
At Illinois, and it was horrible.
Yeah, but that was a lot of freshmen.
But here's the thing, though.
Better this year,
look at the last 5 games for this team. Oh, my gosh. That is just, I mean, how bad is the loss going to be in each one? It would be my question.
Yeah,
Rutgers is going to be the worst team in this division this year, or in this side of the conference. So, they are taking a step backwards this year, and they're going to take that step backwards to be able to move forward. But this year is not going to be fun for them.
The thing that I find funny, and I got to pull up the other 2 schedules that the other 2 teams that we've already looked at. The thing that I find funny is basically when you look at these bottom 3 teams for the Big 10 East, it's basically, you look at Rutgers last year, and from the other division, they played at Illinois, at Nebraska, and Purdue. They went 2-1 in those games. Maryland played Minnesota, Northwestern, Wisconsin, went 1-2. Indiana, they went ahead and they had an extra... No, did they have an extra non-conference game? No, they didn't. They played Wisconsin, Illinois, and Purdue and went 1-2 in those games. So basically, it's going to come down to, when it comes to these bottom 3 teams, which one played the majority of the harder teams from the Big 12 or the Big 10 West, where basically you already get 4 tough teams from your own division. In this case, with Northwestern and Wisconsin, good luck. You've got 6 hard games compared to just, what, the other ones have about, 5? Because they might have one of the 3 where Rutgers has 2 of the 3 from the other conference. So, I mean, that's why I could agree with you where I wouldn't be surprised if Rutgers was at the bottom of the division solely on the fact that they play Wisconsin and Northwestern this year.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not going to be fun for them. And again, are there things that are going to be better? I think the quarterback situation is going to be better.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to go with Sitkowski. They should. They should. And I think they're going to give him a real opportunity to grow here in his true freshman season. I would like to think that, because if they even want a chance at getting better, you got to go with him.
I mean, the only thing I'll throw in there is it'll all come down to how important winning games is. Because you've got Chris Ash, who this will be his 3rd year at the head of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. 2-10 overall his first year, 0-9 in conference, 4-8 last year, 3-6 overall. The question will be, and I think this will be the deciding question. I think the answer is simple too, because I think between the two, Arthur and Gio, basically you can get the same amount of wins with either one. But I just have a worry that Rutgers is going to go, yeah, you know what? RAD, we can't see a step back. We can't go back to being a 2-win team. If we do that, I might lose my job. No, we're going to go with the senior quarterback to try to win more games. I don't know if that would be a decision that would behoove the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, because, I could see them winning just as few games with the senior quarterback than the freshman quarterback. But I wonder if that'll play into it towards no, we can't start the freshman, because if I lose too many games, I could lose my job as head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think necessarily that would be happening in this situation. I think you're looking at, okay, where can we see some positions where we can insert guys and see like an immediate growth and hopefully some improvement. And the quarterback position would certainly be one of those. And I would like to think that that'd be a trickle down effect from there. The running game needs to be better, and they need to have more consistency there. But maybe again, I think that starts at the quarterback spot, and they didn't have that last year. They didn't have that the year before. Now Rutgers hopefully does. And again, it's not bad for Rutgers, the situation that they're in right now, in terms of they're not the best team. They don't have the best roster here in the Big Ten East. Maybe the future is now. Maybe the future is now. Maybe you do start him. I don't think there's a problem with coming to that conclusion and saying, okay, we want to get better. We're going to start now.
The other question I'm going to ask you has to do with the defensive side of the ball for Rutgers, because this is a team that, didn't have as many injuries as the other team we mentioned in Maryland, but they've got a few big injuries coming off, one of those being Tyreek Maddox-Williams, who's coming off of an ACL injury. How important is this defense going to be for the Scarlet Knights? Because we've talked ad nauseum about the offense, about this quarterback situation. Is the defense going to play a big, if this team wins 5 games, maybe 6, are we looking at it going, man, this defense kept that offense in games, and that's why they won those 5 to 6 games? The
defense is definitely going to be the
I like how you smile. You really think this team's going to win 6 games?
Yeah,
Ricky?
Because let's be honest about it, they're not. But I do believe the defense would play a big role in that. The defense will probably once again play a big role into why Rutgers is able to win some of their games if they do it. But it's definitely going to help with getting those guys, like you mentioned, back from injury.
Yeah,
it's certainly not going to hurt. That's kind of duh. But the one thing is how are you in terms of depth? How are you in terms of depth? And for Rutgers on defense, they are thin. They're very thin. So they can't afford injuries. They're going to be asking a whole lot of new guys to step in and step up right away. That's what we're going to see, I think, around the defensive side of the football for Rutgers. They're going to need new guys who haven't had full-time playing in the past, or completely new guys who are true freshmen have to step in and say, here you go. Good luck, and don't get hurt because we have no one behind you. So there's going to be that. While the defense is in certain spots fairly strong, it's going to be, like I said earlier, the back part of that defense, which is where you're going to have the question mark and where you're going to fill the holes voided after last season. Well,
the final thought that I'll make, and then you'll make your final thought before we move on, is basically one of the only positions we didn't talk about yet, and that is the running back position. If this is going to be a team that starts a new quarterback, meaning they go with Sitkowski and they go with the true freshman, I am looking at a backfield of Jonathan Hillman, who's coming over from Boston College, and Raheem Blackshear. They need to be able to help this team out, especially help that quarterback out, because Yeah, I know in the receiving game, people are going to bring up Jerome Washington, who is a tight end that people are saying could be an NFL caliber tight end. But like, you look at Hillman, he was a 600-yard back, almost 600 and a half yard back at Boston College last season. You look at Blackshear, yeah, with the two guys ahead of him, Martin and Edwards, he only got 238 yards last year, but had the best, like, besides Josh Hicks, he had the best average on the team, averaging almost 6 yards per carry last year. Those two need to be anchors for this team to help out that quarterback, to take some pressure off of him, especially if it is Sitkowski being the younger quarterback. That is a position, especially offensively, I think, that'll be interesting to watch this year for the Scarlet Knights. What's your final thoughts on Rutgers?
I think the word for Rutgers this year is going to be uncertainty.
Okay.
Uncertainty on defense. Uncertainty on offense outside of where they could be at quarterback if they go with a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be something for the Scarlet Knights. They're going to have to get past that. And I think because of that, though, they're going to really see struggles this season, probably more so than what they felt last year.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in that comment section. Are we right about Rutgers, wrong about Rutgers? What do you think
we're
about
right.
Rutgers heading into the 2018 season, the 2018 campaign? What do you think? Let us know down below in that comment section.